Hey everybody, Amanda Stanley here again. Standing behind, I don't know if you can see it if I'm aiming it right, but I'll swoop around and show you this delicious, enormous section of stinging nettle, Urtica dioica. Here's a couple specimens right down here that we can take a closer peek at. Urtica dioica, stinging nettle. Let's see if I can zoom in for you to see the spiny sort of leaves, serrated leaves. You can probably see along the stem that there are lots of sort of spiny protrusions, and of course these little hairs that you see up and down the stem are where the acid come from that stings you. So certainly if you grab nettle pretty with intention and with purpose, obviously I'm grabbing the leaf and not the stem where a lot more of the needles, the thorns are, but it won't sting you as badly or at all. But if you were to brush up against this beautiful plant, it will absolutely give you a rash, and one that's not super pleasant, I might add. But I will say that nettle is one of my top 5 favorite plants to work with for so many different reasons. First of all, it's a food. You can cook nettle like you cook spinach. Obviously you don't want to eat it raw in a salad unless you want to get stung in your mouth by it, which absolutely you can. There are herbalists who just roll up a nettle leaf, Jim McDonald being one of them. I've seen him do it, rolls it up and just eats it. And the juices within the nettle plant itself actually helps to cancel out the acid and the rash, so it actually neutralizes what stings you. So it is possible to eat it raw. I haven't been brave enough to do it, but I have used the nettle sap, if you will, to treat a rash that I got while in a nettle field. There are also herbalists who ask clients to go find a field of nettles and walk through it in order to get that rash, in order to get that sting, because nettle is incredibly stimulating to the nervous system, to the circulatory system. It wakes things up, it stimulates your whole body, so it's actually very healing to get stung by nettle. And I have found that the more I need nettle personally, the more she stings me. I don't know why I say she just seems like a feminine plant to me in some way. But when I am taking nettle infusions more, when I'm eating more nettle, when I go out and I work with her, I don't get stung as horribly or at all. So I think there's something to it, that it's real medicine even getting stung by the plant. But other ways to work with nettle, of course, overnight infusions, which are basically just like super steeped teas. Again, food, tincture, topically if you want to get stung, especially if you have arthritic conditions. This is an herb I use really for the entire body. It is slightly drying, so if you are someone who deals with dry hair, skin and nails, crackly skin, just tend to be more on the dehydrated side, I would say to take nettle with something a little bit more moistening like violet leaf to help compensate the dehydration factor. But otherwise, I feel like nettle serves everyone because it works systemically on the nervous system in particular, but also for flushing the body, for digestion, for detox, for even things like anxiety and insomnia. There are so many ways to use this plant for gout, for just general inflammation in the body. Again, it's super duper mineral rich, especially in iron, so it helps to rebuild your energy reserves from almost like a multivitamin aspect, not like from caffeine or like a crazy heavy hitting herb that boosts immunity like an adaptogen. It's much more nourishing. I really do consider it a food. I consider it something you can take daily forevermore. It's very rich in chlorophyll, which of course we know is a wonderful just overall supporter of the bodily functions, but specifically liver support. It's just an amazing herb. I love it dearly. I use it in everything. Like every single formulation I think I have almost always has nettle in it. When all else fails, I always say go to nettle. Some people love the taste, some people don't love the taste. I typically really enjoy it, even plain, but it blends well with other plants. So hibiscus or peppermint or licorice, if you like those flavors, go ahead and combine it with that. And in fact, licorice, if you don't have high blood pressure issues, which it is contraindicated for in some regard, it's sweet and actually is very moistening and holds on to water a bit more. So if you're another dry person and you want to work with nettle and maybe you just want to hold on to a little bit more of your moisture, licorice is another great herb to combine with it in tea. And I always like to veer on the side of tea for chronic conditions, for general support. So nettle is one I definitely take on a regular basis in tea form or overnight infusion. So, oh gosh, nettle. So typically, again, it's the leaf, the aerial parts, again, the above ground parts of the plant that I use. But a lot of people use nettle seed and nettle root specifically for prostate care. I haven't dabbled in that yet. I don't work with a lot of fellows. I typically work with women. So I haven't worked with the seeds and root myself, but a lot of herbalists do, specifically around male health and the prostate health. So amazing herb. That's just a few things that you can touch on when you work with nettle. There are so many more. Thanks for tuning in about Urtica, dioica, and nettle. Check your backyard, check your fields and forests. I'm sure she's there. If you're not sure if it's nettle, drag your hand up and down the leaves a couple times and you will be sure in a moment if you get that rash. And again, it's stimulating, it's healing, it's very rejuvenating for the immune system. So I encourage you to at least experience a nettle sting once in your life. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you soon.